Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Novak. I just want to have a little update. Thank you for everybody who has responded to me on asking like what it is, they use it, this plant. As you can see, the shrimp find the plant, well, they seem to find something on the plant that seems to be feeding them. This is a cherry shrimp, and they seem to be enjoying the plant. But there are a few things I found out about the plant that I needed to know. One is this particular plant does not like hydrogen peroxide. I put some hydrogen peroxide on to see what would happen, and actually it attacked the cells, and the chlorophyll went out of the plant itself. Some people said it looks like duckweed. Yeah, it does. It does resemble like a duckweed. If you look on here, the roots seem to be sticking to, well, maybe they're not sticking to the pot, or maybe they are, but they actually, look how they're growing on the sides of the pot. So it really brings you up like, and wondering what it is. Anyhow, a lot of people said they got this plant off of AliExpress, which I don't shop off of AliExpress. But they said it was written in Chinese, so I'm assuming then with the help of individuals is if the plant is from China. As you can see, the cherry shrimp don't mind it. I don't know what they're finding on the plant itself. I'd have to put it under a microscope, but they seem to be eating something that is on the plant. I can understand the moss where they could find stuff, but the plant is so new. What could they be finding on the particular plant that seems to be edible? I don't know. It's just too new of a plant to really say what they're finding. Anyhow, like here, what is the shrimp finding? Maybe somebody can enlighten all of us who has had this plant. Now, the thing I'm hearing about this from people, in case you haven't read the comments, is one, it comes from maybe India. A lot of people say the plant is illegal. Well, we have a lot of illegal plants here in Florida. Water hyacinth is not permitted in a lot of areas, but we have it here. The manatees eat water hyacinth. They eat it, munch on it like it's M&Ms. Anyhow, the water lettuce, that's another invasive plant, but it's down here in Florida, and I guess it's down here to stay because apparently that's the way it is here in Florida. But this particular plant, you know, a lot of people talk about invasive plants and stuff like this. If this plant is short-lived, I don't see how it would be invasive. And then a lot of people said, well, because it's a seed, it can't be an aquatic plant. However, there's a lot of terrestrial plants out there that are also aquatic plants. Okay. They go under different names. I think I've explained that to you in some of my videos. And like I said, I will not tell you what those plants are because it will actually hurt the industry. And what they do is they take these plants that have been grown terrestrial, and they will turn them into aquatic plants, and they do just fine. So a lot of our aquatic plants are terrestrial plants, but they are able to take the aquatic environment. In fact, I'll show you pictures here of a grower that I found in Florida. So here's some of the plants. In fact, what you are looking at, all these plants are being grown out of water. Now the soil is moist, but every one of these plants are plants that we use in our aquatic environment. And all they are sword plants. Now these are being grown by a grower. And of course, you can pick them up and sell them to the aquarium shops. And of course, they'll be just fine. They'll have to acclimate to the aquatic environment. But this is not unusual because now you can grow a plant out of water and it doesn't get algae all over it. All you have to do then is sell the plant to a wholesaler. And this is it. These are sword plants. But if you grow them this way, you don't have to worry about bugs. Well, maybe bugs, but you don't have to worry about algae growing on them. But look at this. Every one of them is being grown out of the aquatic environment. Here's another tub full of aquatic plants. But once again, as you can see, they're all grown out of water. And they're growing just fine. This is what I mean when people said, seeds and it's not an aquatic plant. Well, as you can see, a lot of aquatic plants are terrestrial plants, but have the ability to change and accept a complete aquatic environment. Some plants are not capable of doing that are being sold, and they will literally live for a short time and then drown. What happens with these kind of plants, like we're looking at, is usually they need to acclimate, and when the hobbyist buys them, he sees, oh, look, no algae, no nothing. But you'll start seeing maybe the leaves starting to die off, and new leaves will have to grow on the plant, and those will be the aquatic leaves. There is a lot of plants that we use that have this capability of living a terrestrial life or an aquatic life. What you're looking at here is you're looking at parrot's feather, in case you've never seen it. Now, this is another very invasive plant, parrot's feather is. And what they do is those containers that you saw with the swords in it and the aquatic plants that are being grown, it's constantly staying wet where the root system is, and it's going inside of this tub, and from the tub, it pumps it back in to those containers that are carrying the plants. So that's how they grow them. And this is all done like through a greenhouse here in Florida. Well, it's not really in a greenhouse, it's outside. And what we're looking at here is just some, water lilies that they were growing. But anyway, I thought I would show you that because, yes, a lot of our terrestrial plants can be aquatic, and they're grown out of the water just so they have zero algae on them. And when you, the hobbyist, get them, they're going to have to acclimate to the aquatic environment. So that's what I'm thinking. These seeds could be terrestrial, but they can also grow under aquatic. And I'm only saying that because these seeds were able to germinate underneath the water. Most seeds that are terrestrial have to germinate wet, but need a lot of oxygen still to germinate. And as we know, we did such experiments with beans and stuff that you would keep them wet and they would finally root and everything else. But to put it completely underwater and submerge it, it would just drown. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with this plant. But then on the other hand, there's lots of plants that we use, like hydrophilia, for example. I don't use that plant. And the reason I don't use any of those plants is they seem to grow good when you buy them, like bunch plants. They seem to grow good. And if you have CO2, they grow better. And then you cut them down, they get big, they look beautiful. Then you got to cut them down, then they grow back again. But after cutting them a couple times, they seem to die off. Okay? So there are a lot of plants that we have that really I haven't been able to grow for a very long time before they die off. Anyhow, just a short video. I want to show you that how a lot of our aquatic plants are grown, that they're growing out of the water. They're emergent, and then they sell them or put them in a pot or whatever, and then they submerge them, and that's why you'll see some of the leaves starting to die off, especially if you're a newcomer. You will get that, and the leaves wind up dying off, and you wonder, what did I do wrong? What do I need? You know what I mean? And then they go on a farm, and the farm says, oh, you need fertilizer, you need this, you need to add this. And really the plant is just going through a period of change and becoming adjusted to its aquatic environment. So that's all for this video. Oh, by the way, I don't want to be out of hand here, but for anyone who is Christian, Happy Easter. I wish all of you a happy Easter. Those of you who may be atheists or anything, I don't mean to offend anybody or a different religion, but this is the Christian holiday of Easter, and I'm wishing all you Christians out there happy Easter. So until next time, this is Dr. Novak. Please subscribe to my channel, and happy fish keeping.